5 conversation extracted from Matlala's phone pertaining to my name. General Mkhwanazi has further sought to rely on alleged WhatsApp messages said to have been extracted from a cellular telephone reportedly removed from one Matlala, which messages are alleged to contain references to me. I place on record that I was not a participant in those conversations, as it is evident from the material relied upon. My name is merely mentioned. I did not form part of the messaging group or the exchanges themselves. The conversations in question are said to be between one Brown Mkhwanazi and Matlala, in which my name is purportedly referenced. I have no knowledge or involvement in those exchanges and no information as to how these alleged messages were extracted, preserved, or presented to the Commission. It is entirely unclear how these messages were obtained, what methodology was employed in their extraction, and whether their integrity and authenticity have been preserved. Accordingly, I am unable to confirm the authenticity, accuracy, or context of these purported WhatsApp communications and cannot speak to their legitimacy, completeness, or reliability. Any attempt to rely on these alleged messages as evidence against me is therefore misleading and unfair, as it attributes to me statements and discussions in which I played no part whatsoever. Other inconsistencies noted in General Mkhwanazi's evidence. Another challenging aspect is that the evidence of General Mkhwanazi raises material concerns in my view. It is notable that he did not inform this commission that there had been an attempt to return the docket to KwaZulu-Natal, which he refused to accept. The fact only emerged during the ad hoc committee proceedings, and even then, only after I had mentioned it. Because this is how I corrected here. He says only after he was expressly prompted. I expressed it there. It was not information that he volunteered to this commission. This omission is difficult to ignore and warrant scrutiny. In his press briefing held on 6 July, General Mkhwanazi stated that during 2024, he received a request from the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit to provide assistance in an investigation aimed at dismantling an organized crime syndicate. According to his statement, the syndicate was controlled from Gauteng but operated in the rest of the country and across other neighboring countries. General Mkhwanazi further stated that in his capacity as the provincial commissioner, he took a decision to deploy 10 members from the PKTT to support the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit in that investigation. In his testimony before his commission on 17 September 2025, General Mkhwanazi presented a materially different version. On that occasion, he stated that it was in fact General Khumalo in his capacity as Divisional Commissioner Crime Intelligence who, after registering a counterintelligence case, requested law enforcement support from outside the Gauteng province. According to this version, the purpose of the deployment was to ensure that the investigation conducted by the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit was protected. The divergence between General Mkhwanazi's public statement of 6 July 2025 and his sworn statement before this commission on 17 September 2025 raises a material issue regarding the reliability of his account. It is possible that the version presented by General Mkhwanazi before this commission was influenced by the fact that following his press briefing of 6 July 2025, Brigadier Hopane, the provincial head of organized crime for Gauteng, categorically denied that she had requested any form of assistance from General Mkhwanazi. In that context, The later version attributing the request to General Khumalo and to a counterintelligence investigation may have been advanced to address or explain that denial. These are the peripheral issues. The inconsistencies necessarily bears on the credibility and weight to be attached to his evidence and underscores the need for the Commission to assess the evidence with a particular care and to evaluate the consistency, reliability, and corroboration of the version presented. Now I'm getting to allegations made by the National Commissioner. I now proceed to address and canvass the allegations made by the National Commissioner during his testimony before the Commission from 22nd September 2023, 22 September to 23 September 2025. I address these allegations thematically. First, begin by dealing with the allegations concerning my purported relationship with Matlala, Mr. Matlala. Secondly, I address the investigation into the kidnapping of Jerry Boshoga. Thirdly, I deal with the National Commissioner's point of contention. Allegations concerning my purported relationship with Matlala. The National Commissioner alleges that it was indicated to him that I am close friends with Mr. Matlala. I vehemently deny that I am or have ever been a close friend of Matlala. Any assertion to that effect is false. No credible evidence has been produced to establish that I am friends with Matlala. In actual fact, I was introduced to Matlala as a service provider of the South African Police Service. He is known in the SAPS because he was at that time running a hospital of the South African Police Service at the college. He was awarded a healthcare contract at the police college. During or about January 2024, when I was acting National Commissioner, Matlala set up an appointment to visit me at my office with his attorney. On his visit, Matlala was indeed accompanied by his attorney. Matlala complained that he had been awarded the tender but was not allowed to use the facility and thus not able to deliver in terms of the tender agreement. Matlala also had a letter from Public Works.
Sorry to interrupt you, General. Just a question of clarity. When you say he complained that he'd been awarded the tender, was not allowed to use the facility, which tender are you referring to? Is it the Medicare 24?
That is correct, Chair.
Okay, you may continue. You were at Matlala also had a letter from Public Works.
Matlala also had a letter from Public Works which confirmed that he received a lease agreement to utilize the said building. I informed him that I would discuss the matter with the National Commissioner upon his return. I consulted with the National Commissioner on the issue upon his return to the office. His response was that Public Works was not going to tell SAPS how to utilize the building. The National Commissioner asserted that Matlala was not going to be allowed into the building. The tender nevertheless continued until May 2025. At this juncture, my involvement was limited to providing feedback to Matlala on my interaction with the National Commissioner pertaining to his complaint, which I duly did. Paragraph 165. I reiterate that I had no prior knowledge of nor a relationship with Matlala before the meeting held at my office. The suggestion that I am a close friend of Matlala is untenable, given that I only met him for the first time in January 2024.
General, can I just understand that last part where you say the suggestion that I'm a close friend is untenable, given that I only met him for the first time in January 2024? Does this mean, and maybe let me ask my question, beyond January 2024, did a friendship develop? or not?
We didn't develop a friendship, but we have interacted. And not to a level or to a point where I could say we were now friends. But because of the fact that at that point in time, he was really not under investigation nor under scrutiny, like the minister, former minister Bekele said at the ad hoc, the eyes then that looked at Matlala are not the eyes that look at him now. At that point in time, there was nothing, but it doesn't mean that he became my friends. We were never friends.
You were never friends?
No.
Okay, thank you. You may continue.
The investigation into the kidnapping of Jerry Boshoga. The National Commissioner alleged that concerns were raised with him regarding my purported relationship with Matlala, as well as apprehensions regarding my continued oversight of the investigation into the kidnapping of Jerry Boshoga. Notwithstanding these allegations, these alleged concerns, the National Commissioner did not at any stage remove me from the investigation. To the contrary, I continued to lead and perform investigative functions in respect of the kidnapping of Jerry Boshoga matter up to date, on which I was instructed to stay at home. I further wish to place on record that my involvement in the investigation of this matter came about as a result of a family member of Jerry Boshoga approaching me directly. The said family member expressed concern that the team then assigned to investigate the kidnapping was not affording the matter sufficient attention. In that context, the family member requested that I specifically become involved in the investigation, and the matter was entrusted to me on that basis. I need to take time and explain this matter of Jerry Boshoga. Chair, this matter was reported, the timelines I will get in the report in terms of when, the date, but what happened, it was reported and investigated by Gauteng. And then it was investigated, but not much attention was being given to the matter. Then a family member...
When you say by Gauteng, who exactly are you referring to?
I think it's Gauteng Organized Crime. And then the family member, who is a director at the, works in government at the presidency, the Union Building, is a family member, is a brother-in-law of Mr. Boshoga. I think he's a brother to the sister. Came to my office. I've got his name, I've got his contact details. And for the commission maybe to also maybe confirm the facts, so the investigators sit with him and confirm the facts. He came to my office complaining about the fact that Mr. Boshoga has been kidnapped for far too long and it looked like they're not enjoying much support. What I then did, I called all the structures. I called for the docket in Gauteng. I called intelligence investigators, those that were involved, and also I put a bigger team together. We were all sitting in my office in the boardroom, and I said, guys, we can't fail to deal with this matter. What is going on? And then all of them, they contributed, and then they started running with the investigation. We appointed a sergeant, I think Shihangule, and another colonel to lead the investigation. There's a report of what they are doing. I want to make a request, special request. Chair, I've never called any witness. I'm the only person, after so many allegations made against me by different people. In this one, I just want to ask the commission to just summon or call and come with a docket. Either Sergeant Shihangule or the Colonel Mashabela, who's investigating this matter, because the matter was not receiving attention at all. Since they investigated, the family was happy, completely happy. And may I also indicate that there's no any other person, senior, who's been involved in this matter than I have been, who pushed for this investigation more than I have done. And I'll tell you why. We have had, together with the minister, a meeting with the DPCI investigators. Now, this is a team that is able to trace a person without only looking at the phone and the SIM card, but whether you are on Wi-Fi or whatever. I expressed my dissatisfaction about this matter and invited their support. At the police summit, I was one of the speakers. I raised that, and I said at the police summit, I said, as a country, it is very worrying that a matter like this we are not able to resolve, where a person has been kidnapped for so long and we are unable to trace. We've got technology and we've got everything. At some point, the minister called the service providers to his office at his residential. With all the service providers for the communication, different. I raised the matter and say, everybody uses communication. Why are we not able to put all the resources that we want, that we have to trace this person? I went out of my way to make sure that this person gets traced. Now, my request is that the team that is investigating, Chair, if one of them could just come and say, this is what we've been doing, look at the docket before we got it, and what investigations we ran up until the docket, up until we were called. This thing that the National Commissioner received a complaint that I'm a friend to Matlala, I don't know where it comes from. But
General, when did you put this team together? I don't know if you mentioned the date. You had said you'd called a meeting and then you formed the team. When was that?
After the same day the brother came to my office, I called a big team in the room, including intelligence themselves.
I understand. I'm asking when was that? The date?
It's like I was saying, I don't have it here. I'll provide the date.
Sure.
Because they all came in my office when the date, it will be in the investigation diary of the docket when everything started. But the report I have, I will get the report. I have it somewhere, but I'll show it. It's first thing in the morning and say, yes, that report that I spoke about. So that it is clear that they conducted the investigation, even when I heard the National Commissioner saying that he was also approached by a Calvin Rafadi, who told him that General Sibiya has cut Matlala's friend and cannot investigate this matter. Now, the investigation team were working hand in hand with the parent, with the mother, and they were very happy. Even when the team they attempted to take the docket away from them, even generals in Tumula, apparently they went to try and speak to the mother so that the team can be changed. The mother refused. Even when one of the generals, I think it was General Mkhwanazi, saying that they spoke to General Kumalo, saying that they spoke to the mother and the mother was complaining, and it is not true. I am asking the Commission to just call the investigators to come with the docket as well and to demonstrate to this Commission which team investigated this thing and made more investigation, because the team has been everywhere, even to Limpopo. They turned every stone. They followed all the leads. Even they worked with the family. Whatever information the family produced, at some point people were traced. I know of some colors that were traced, and some of them ran away. Some of them ended up being arrested for something else. But there were people traced. All I want to ask is that the Commission should summon the investigating officer, because this matter was investigated thoroughly. The PKTT was never involved, not even once. Not even once. But be that as it may, I just want to say, Commissioner, my request, special request, please let this investigation serve as an example and put here to go through it and see who worked, who did the job, and who didn't do the job. That's all.
I thought I heard you mention the race of some of the people that were arrested.
Yeah, there
Am
was.
I correct? You don't need to repeat that. At the end of Mr. Makagula's evidence, I had prepared a very long note in which I wanted to comment on the fixation within the police structures to refer to the races of people. I never understand that, especially if race is totally irrelevant to what the person is saying or writing. It's a hang-up from the apartheid days where even judges would write in judgments, A, B, C, D, a Bantu male did this and that, when being a so-called Bantu is totally irrelevant to what's being said. I noticed that in particular with police officers. I don't know why that remains with police officers. Anyway, please continue.
May I apologize, Chair, and to the people of South Africa if what I said maybe or may have caused some uncomfortability. It just came the way it came. I apologize, Chair.
Please continue.
Yes.
General, before you continue, you say that General Masemula's evidence that Mr. Bushoka's mother approached him and expressed unhappiness with your involvement. Similarly, General Kumalo's statement that the mother has expressed unhappiness, and you said that is not true, and you say it very firmly. Do you say it is not true because you have spoken to Mr. Bushoka's mother, and so you know that she never expressed that kind of unhappiness with your involvement?
Personally, I've never spoken to Mr. Bushoka's mother, and most probably I may not be in a position to say it is not true that the National Commissioner spoke to the mother, but my investigators, the one that are involved, told me that we're working well with the mother and she's happy. In fact, she said to me, I said to the family, if you are not happy with me being in on this case, I'm prepared to give it. And then the mother said, no, keep it.
Okay, so you're saying what General Masemula and Generals Kumalo and Masemula have said is not true because your investigators have said to you the mother is happy with the work that they do.
That's correct.
Is that your basis? Okay.
That's
Thank
correct.
you. Thank you.
It is my request as well, Chair, that they should come and corroborate what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Okay, paragraph 169.